Hello, my name is Pablo Rivera, and many scientists, even from years ago, warn us about the dangers of rising temperatures caused by carbon emissions and the dangers it brings to the future. Many say it would affect the glaciers in the ocean, cause increases in sea levels, and many droughts. Unaware of the quick changes that will happen, it is clear with climate change humans face more trials that can have very negative effects. Holm Peter and Juan C. Rocha discuss in their article Networks of Climate Change Connecting Causes and Consequences, updated in 2023, say that understanding the causes and consequences of and devising countermeasures to global warming is a profoundly complex problem. Network representations are sometimes the only way forward, and sometimes able to reduce the complexity of the original problem, meaning knowing the effects of climate change has on the world is the first step to figure out the ways to reduce it. Now, when I was young, I received a talk from my mom, always telling me that I should care for what I do now because it affects my future. She would always tell me to recycle so my children and future generations could have a better life. It was always a lesson that was taught across my family. But why can't we apply this lesson to the current knowledge of climate change? Wouldn't it help to worry about the future, what the future holds for our future generations and the effects it would have on them? So today I'll be talking about climate change, and this includes the consequences, things leading to this climate change, and how different places around the world, like Saudi Arabia, are getting affected their agriculture because of these harsh climates. Now, climate change is having an effect on our world, and the only way to reduce it is to analyze the complexity of it. These are facts of Holm Peter and Juan C. Rocha. The amount of warming that happens depends on the concentration of greenhouse gases. Climate subsystems are teleconnected, and climate tipping elements can amplify each other, creating warming. The photochemical reaction of networks and the atmosphere determines the concentration of greenhouse gases. To review the possible solutions for climate change, it is important to predict through networks. In this review, we will argue that the scientific challenges of climate change will require a network representation of problems, formulations, and the potential solutions. And humans aren't the only causes of climate change. A simple explanation of the causes of global warming does not need more than a sentence gas injected by humans into the atmosphere to shield the thermal radiation into space, raising the Earth's mean temperature. However, going into just one level deeper, we are hit by a wall of complexity. Climate change as a whole can be very complex, and there's true and equal way to view this glaring issue. Once we make our efforts to reduce, then we can enjoy the benefits of improved climate. Now to our second main point, the positive effects of improving gashouse climates. One of them being the improved health. The many benefits of taking actions in climate change, such as improved health, growth in the low carbon markets, and reduce inequality. Improving climate change can reduce CO2 levels substantially, meaning allergies and illnesses, including asthma, can be mitigated with higher air quality. Now, growth in low carbon jobs, this can open many economic opportunities for jobs, with them also being healthy for nature. Now, reduce inequality, a local issue presented, but lowering carbon emissions ultimately will equal the playing field, with many sectors allowing them to prosper due to less carbon emissions, supporting the fact that it will allow different aquatic sectors prosper, reducing inequality in jobs as a whole. Now that we know the positive effects of climate change has, it is quite critical now to mention the effects that it has on what we depend for survival, agriculture. Now the effects of climate change on agriculture, these are presented by Asim Muhammad in January of 2023, titled Farmers Believe in Concerns About Climate Change and Their Adaptation Behaviors to Combat Climate Change in Saudi Arabia. Mentions that there will be extreme weather changes that can affect the flow of agriculture. Across different regions of the world, shifts in the seasonal water availability throughout the year are also likely to be induced. The frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, like flooding and drought, may also increase. Places like Saudi Arabia will face great challenges with the water scarcity affected by climate change. According to Water Resource Institute, 14 out of 33 countries that are more likely to be water stressed in 2040 would be in the Middle East, and among them Saudi Arabia has been marked 9th in the position of water scarcity. Water scarcity increases vulnerability of the region and the impacts of climate change. Now, to summarize, the different sources discussed about climate changes, about the challenges of climate change, how it affects us, and how other countries like Saudi Arabia will go through these extreme changes. It is important to know about the consequences of climate change and the prediction of these extreme climates. Understanding how climate change works, the causes for it, and the effects of improvement in climate change. The challenges that Saudi Arabia will go through in terms of water scarcity in the country, and how the localization plus climate change will affect it. Now, climate change is having a big impact on Earth, and there will be no way to reverse it. But we can always try to reduce its effects and save our planet from a disastrous future.